Today we are going to revise 2 chapters together. So watch the video carefully. Nutrition in animals. Animal nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization in the body is called nutrition. So what is the definition of animal nutrition? It includes nutrient requirement, mode of taking food and its utilization in the body. Digestion is the process by which complex food substances are broken down into simpler substances. It's called digestion. You will find that there is a table in your book, so you have to fill that table accordingly. Different ways of taking food, name of animals, kind of food and mode of feeding. So, snail kind of food is grass and its mode of feeding is chewing. So, these are the animals from the previous table. Next is digestion in human. You can see the digestive system in this picture. The main parts of the alimentary canal are buccal cavity, that is mouth, esophagus, that is food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. The main glands are salivary glands, liver and pancreas. The alimentary canal and the gland together is called the digestive system. The mouth and buccal cavity. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. This process is called the ingestion. In the mouth, the food is broken down into smaller pieces by the teeth. The mouth has salivary glands which secrete saliva. Saliva breaks down starch into sugar. So, tongue. Tongue has taste buds to detect different tastes of food. The different regions of tongue detect different tastes, such as bitter, sour, salty, and in the front part there will be sweet taste bud. Next is teeth. There are 4 types of teeth. They are incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Incisors help in biting and cutting the food. Canines help in piercing and tearing the food. Premolars and molars help in chewing and grinding the food. Look at the table. In this table, you will find the number of teeth, how many number of teeth are present in our lower jaw, how many are there in our upper jaw, and what is the total number of teeth present in our mouth. Next is food pipe or esophagus. The food pipe passes along the neck and chest. The swallowed food is pushed down by movement of the walls of the food pipe into the stomach. Then the stomach. Stomach secretes digestive juices, hydrochloric acid and mucus. The digestive juices breaks down proteins. Hydrochloric acid makes the medium acidic and kills bacteria, which enter along with the food. Mucus protects the wall of the stomach from the acid. The small intestine. The small intestine is a long coiled tube. It receives secretion from liver and pancreas. It also secretes digestive juices. The liver is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder, and it breaks down fat. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juices, which breaks down carbohydrate and protein. So juices completes the digestion of starch into glucose, fats into fatty acid and glycerol, and proteins into amino acid. Next is absorption of digested food in the small intestine. The digested food is absorbed by the wall of the small intestine. This process is called the absorption. The small intestine has several finger-like projections called the villi, having blood vessels. The villi help to increase the surface area for absorption. The absorbed materials are carried by the blood to the different parts of the body and used by the body. This is called the assimilation process. The undigested food then passes into the large intestine. Next one then is large intestine. In the large intestine, water and some salts are absorbed. The remaining waste then passes to the rectum and remains there as feces. That is the waste material from the digestion. It is removed through the anus from time to time, and this process is known as egestion. Next topic is digestion in grass-eating animals. Grass-eating animals like cows and buffaloes quickly swallow the grass and store it in a separate part of the stomach called the rumen. Here the food is partly digested and is called curd. Then the curd is brought back to the mouth in the small lumps and chewed again and again. This process is known as the rumination process. The cellulose in the grass is digested with the help of some bacteria. I have mentioned you earlier that the bacteria's name is Ruminococcus. Next is feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a single-cell organism found in a pond water. The cell has a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and as well as a nucleus. The cytoplasm has many bubble-like vacuole. Okay, look at the picture. There is digestive vacuole. The cells has finger-like projection called the pseudopodia or false feet, which helps it to move and capture food. In the food vacuole, the food is digested by the digestive enzyme. So, they contain digestive enzyme in those digestive vacuoles. And then it gets absorbed. The undigested waste is then sent out by the vacuole. Next is activity number 3. Now, this is the effect of saliva on starch. What we have to do? We have to take 2 test tubes. In one test tube, we have to put some boiled rice. Other test tube, what we have to do? We have to chew some boiled rice for 3 to 5 minutes. After that, we have to add it in the other test tube. Then, we have to add some water to both the test tube. Then, we have to pour 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution in each test tube. The boiled rice turns blue-black due to the presence of starch. The chewed rice does not turn blue-black because the saliva converted the starch into sugar. Our next chapter is, we will also revise chapter 3, that is fiber to fabric. So as we all know that fibers can be obtained from plants or animals, and they are known as natural fibers. Jute, cotton is the commonly known natural fibers that we can obtain from plants, whereas wool, silk are commonly known as natural fibers and obtained from animals. Next is wool. So the hair present in the body of animals trap the air between the hairy fibers. The trapped air, being a poor conductor of heat, prevents the flow of heat from their body to the cold surroundings and vice versa, thereby makes these animals feel warm. So wool is obtained from the hairy animals like sheep, goat, yak and many other animals. There are 2 types of hair we can obtain from them. One is coarse beard hair and another is fine soft under hair. And these actually form the fleece of this animal, camel, from which we can obtain wool. And also we can obtain wool from llama and alpaca. Next is rearing and breeding of sheep. Let's talk about selective breeding. What happened here? We take one male sheep and another female sheep, and we take the best quality one. That means these 2 sheep, they will have thick coat of hair on their body, and this is the desired quality which we want in the offspring. So if their mother and father will have the same quality, their offspring will also get the same quality which we want. This process of selecting the best quality of sheep is known as selective breeding. Next one is processing fibers into wool. So step 1 is, the first step is the removal of fleece of the sheep along with the thin layer of skin. This process is termed as shearing. The hair provides woolen fibers that are then processed to obtain woolen yarn. It doesn't affect them because it's just like getting a haircut. Next is step number 2, Sheared fleece is systematically washed in tanks in order to remove the grease, dust and dirt. This process is known as scouring. Third process is the scoured hair is then sorted and sent to the factory, where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. Step number 4. Here the small fluffy fibers called the burrs are separated from the hair and the hair is scoured again and then dried. The wool is then ready to be drawn into fibers. Fifth step, the fibers are dyed into various vibrant colors because the natural color of the fleece is either black, brown or it can be white. So step number 6, the fibers are then strengthened, combed and finally rolled into yarn. The longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters, whereas the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen cloth. Silk. Silk fiber is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. The rearing of silkworms to obtain silk is termed as sericulture. There are many types of silks, but the most common silk moth among all is the mulberry silk moth, and they only feed mulberry leaf. Next is the life cycle of silkworm. The female silk moth lays egg. The larva, also known as caterpillar or silkworm, they hatch out from the egg and grow into size. As soon as the caterpillar gets ready to develop into pupa, this caterpillar in this stage secretes fiber made up of protein that hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. The caterpillar soon covers itself completely by the covering of silk fiber known as cocoon. So caterpillars secrete the silk fiber. The further development of the moth continues inside the cocoon. Silk fibers are used for weaving silk cloth. You can see the life cycle in this picture. Next we will learn about the processing of cocoon to silk. So what happened here? The first step is the 100 of eggs laid by the female silk moth are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and are then sold to silkworm farmers, where the eggs are kept under hygienic and suitable condition of temperature and humidity for their proper growth. In the next stage, after giving them the suitable temperature, they are also fed with the freshly chopped mulberry leaves. So they eat the mulberry leaf day and night and increase a lot in size. After 25 to 30 days, the silkworms stop eating and move into a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray, having small racks or twigs to spin the cocoon. Silkworm spins the cocoon inside which further development into the silk moth takes place. Then second step toward obtaining silk is the processing of silk. So a pile of cocoon are used to obtain silk fibers are kept under the sun or boiled or else exposed to steam to separate the silk fibers. This process is known as reeling the silk and is done using machines which unwind the thread or fibers of silk from the cocoon, which are then spun into silk thread and are woven into silk cloth by the weavers. So this is the rearing process, step 1. And this step 2 is finally how we can obtain the silk from the silk moth. So read this 2 chapters once again. Thank you, students.